for its natural resources, famed for its huge gold deposits, pure stands of pine forest, cold breeze, and rich soil and water resources that have enabled its people to sustain their lives. The discovery of gold in the Cordillera in the 1960s came an era of mining. This industry became a way of living for the residents. Gold has been a sign of wealth ever since. This notion has involved people, including the youth, to get involved in this kind of occupation.
Both large-scale and small-scale mining industries are found in the Cordillera region. Large-scale mining is formal, employing thousands of people and using bigger equipment. On the other hand, small-scale mining refers to informal mining activities carried out using low technology or with minimal machinery. The metals obtained from mining are copper, gold, chromite, nickel, silver, and iron, with gold being the primary metal procured from small-scale mining corporations. Gold ores are mechanically grinded and washed thoroughly to remove the mud and other sediments, then allowed to pass along a canal laden with cloth. Pyrites would usually be sieved into the cloth. Some small-scale miners prefer to use chemicals such as cyanide to shorten the process. According to the Mines and Geosciences Bureau of the ANR, 70 to 80% of gold production comes from the small-scale mining industry. Gross production value in small-scale gold mining amounted to 180 million pesos in 2004.
Welcome to CAM6 Explorers Small Scale Miners Association Incorporated. Let's go inside. Oh, it's Engineer Guillermo M. Patsoyan. Oh, there is Mr. Guillermo Patsoyan. So let's go. Hello sir, good morning. Yeah, we're from Pacific Place and we want to inquire about the mining. Welcome. Papuntang Minahan, makikita ang mga batong galing sa loob ng tunnel. Ito ay ang pinoproseso upang makuha ang ginto.
So, andito na tayo sa entrance ng tunnel. So, papasok na tayo dito and medyo malamig dito sa loob. Tara!
Ang tunnel na ito ay kumukonekta sa kalsada patungo sa bundok. Sa loob nito ay makikita mo ang mga sanga-sangang daan na pwedeng pumunta sa taas ng bundok o kaya bumaba sa bundok. Madami ring matutulis na bato, kaya dapat mag-ingat sa pagpasok. Hello guys! So, nandito pala tayo sa room number 8 and smile before you enter. Tara, pasok tayo. Pero sandit lang. Oh my God, walang signal. Matatawagan si Jack. Ay, wait lang pala. Nasa 1,000 feet above sea level tayo. Ay, tara. Sa loob nito, madami kang makikitang sako-sakong bato at mga ibang daan papasok sa isa pang minahan. Madaming proseso ang kailangang gawin upang makuha ang ginto. Una ay dapat kumuha ang mga minero ng bato na nanggaling sa loob ng tunnel. Mga nakuhang mga bato ay ilalagay sa mga iba't ibang makina upang ito ay maproseso. Ang mga prinoprosesong bato ay hinahaluan ng mga iba't ibang nakakalasong kemikal gaya ng cyanide at carbon na maaaring makasama sa ating kalusugan.
Cyanide exists in two forms, the gaseous form and the liquid form. When cyanide is inhaled or ingested, it is distributed in the body. Cells normally produce ATP in the presence of cytochrome C oxidase. But when cyanide enters the cell, cytochrome C oxidase is inhibited. Thus, ATP production is also inhibited. As a result, cell death occurs. Cyanide binds to iron inside the red cells. When this happens, cells cannot absorb oxygen. Since oxygen is mostly utilized by the heart and the brain, these organs are primarily affected. Not enough oxygen reaches the heart and the brain, consequently causing heart and brain damage. Symptoms of these include coma, seizures, cardiac arrest, and eventually, death.
Carbon pigments gains entry through the respiratory tract via inhalation. It reaches the alveoli wherein it will be engulfed by both the alveolar and interstitial macrophages. Macrophages with engulfed carbon pigments can then accumulate in the connective tissues and lymph. Pneumoconiosis can occur in two forms, simple and complicated. Simple form includes macrophages plus collagen fibers deposited in the respiratory bronchioles, particularly in the upper lobe, upper zone, and lower lobe of the lung. This will then cause alveolar dilatation that may lead to centrilobular emphysema. The deposited macrophages may also form black scars where the pigment and the collagen fibers will then undergo necrosis.
Pathology of asbestosis would begin via inhalation of either of the two forms. The first form is the serpentine form, and the second form is the amphibole form. For the amphibole form, it has an increased predilection to the development of mesotheliomas, and would also cause lung deposition. For the serpentine form, it is removed by mucociliary action. Both forms causes alveolar accumulation, which may cause release of chemotactic factors, which may eventually lead to inflammation and fibrosis. Pathology of silicosis would start via inhalation of the injurious material, which causes accumulation in the epithelial cells and the macrophages, causing the release of certain factors such as interleukin-1, tumor necrosis factor, fibronectin, free radicals, and cytokines, which would eventually cause fibrosis and hence increase the risk for tuberculosis due to the decreased cell-mediated immunity.
Madaming batas sa mining ang isinasaalang-alang upang maprotektahan ang mga minero, ang ibang tao at ang ating kalikasan. Sabi nga nila, safety first. Ilan sa mga batas na ito ay ang DENR Administrative Order Number 2000-98 at ang Occupational Safety and Health Standards ng Department of Labor and Employment. Tara, panoorin rin natin ang isang video upang malaman ang mga ginagamit dapat sa minahan.
Personal Protective Equipment or PPE. These are utilized in the workplace to prevent unnecessary injury and reduce exposure to hazardous elements that may be unexpected to an ordinary employee. Mandatory PPE, one of which is safety helmet, or commonly known as hard hat. This protects the worker from falling debris that might cause head injury. Next is safety shoe. Workers performing tasks that expose them to foot injury, hazards such as operating ground drill, or transporting concrete should wear this metal-plated shoe. Third is wearing safety goggles to prevent workers' eye exposure to hazardous substances. There are 4 types: impact-resistant safety goggles with side shields, prescription lens safety goggles and side shields, vented safety goggles, and non-vented safety goggles. There are also task-specific PPEs, such as hearing protectors. Many activities in the workplace expose workers to high level of noise, which in time, overexposure can damage their hearing, which prevents them from hearing emergency alarms.
Kuya Ryan, hard hat daw. Oh, Rosa, anong ginagawa mo?